Today I fucked up by napping after taking antibiotics. I have a mild lung infection, so on Tuesday my doc gave me a week run of antibiotics to try kill it off. My cat has been very worried about me and keeps nipping at my hands or licking my face until I lay down. So after my evening dose yesterday, I laid down on the couch and let him curl up on my stomach and have a little nap together. We chilled for a few hours until it was time for bed. As soon as I stood up, I noticed my back hurt pretty bad, but I blamed that on the couch. Once I got upstairs to bed, though, it was obvious that everything hurt. My chest felt like I'd been punched, my back was screaming, my stomach hurt. I took some medicine and told my husband to go to bed, and I'd come up when I felt better. I did not feel better. I proceeded to flop about like a fish in agonizing pain until I realized it was 1 a.m. and I was getting worse. I called the emergency health line and the triage nurse said, "Hey, so bad chest pain is dangerous, go to a damn hospital." Paraphrased. Pulled my husband out of bed and got to emergency by 2 a.m. I was at pain level 8 or 9 by that point, and they gave me in 4, but no meds, which also fucking out. Unfortunately, the hospital was understaffed and also randomly overrun with dying people. The nurse was frazzled, so I only saw a doctor at 9 a.m. At that point, I'd been awake over 24 hours and 10 hours in please end it all pain, so I was barely coherent. The doctor listened to my story, gave me a few painful jabs in the stomach and told me, "You can't lay down after you take antibiotics. That's how you badly damaged your stomach lining and esophagus with stomach acid." Got some pain relief finally and just about cried from that. Then they removed my 4 and fucking OWW. Way worse than putting it in. Got home at 11 a.m. Lay down on the bed fully clothed and just woke up feeling like a zombie. On the plus side, my heart is in a plus condition. Too long did not read. Turns out you can cause actual damage to your insides if you lay down right after taking antibiotics. I didn't know that and spent 7 hours in the hospital in various kinds of horrible agony. As someone who stays sleeping while sick 100% of the time, can't say I've ever had a problem with antibiotics and sleeping. I have no idea what the fuck that doctor was talking about. I have been hospitalized several times while on antibiotics, and I have never once had that issue. Maybe you're just particularly susceptible. Please seek a second opinion if you continue having pain. This is not typical for this medication. Imagine explaining to future you, "Yeah, I hospitalized myself by vibing too hard after meds." Doxy. I have never heard that about antibiotics. Shouldn't there be a warning in the bottle or from the doctor? Today I fucked up by thinking I could just carry my bag through Amsterdam. I got into Amsterdam way too early for my Airbnb check-in. I figured I'd just kill some time wandering around the canals with my suitcase and backpack. I didn't feel like finding storage, and I told myself it wouldn't be that bad. But actually it was. About 10 minutes in, one of the suitcase wheels got jammed in the cobblestones and snapped right off. So now, instead of rolling it, I'm dragging this half-broken lump that kept tipping over every few feet. Tourists were staring, bikes were flying past me from every direction, and I probably said sorry 100 times just trying not to take people out with my bag. Then the rain started. My jeans were soaked, my socks were squishing, and the bottom of my suitcase was literally shredding apart on the stones. By the time I finally made it to the Airbnb, I was sweaty, drenched, and my luggage looked like it had survived a natural disaster. So yeah, today I fucked up by thinking I could just carry my stuff for a few hours in Amsterdam. The city humbled me real quick. Too long did not read. Got into Amsterdam before check-in and thought I could just drag my suitcase around for a few hours. Well, snapped on cobblestones, it started pouring rain, and I ended up soaked, exhausted, and dragging a half-destroyed bag through the city like an idiot. Edit. Apparently, people in the comments and DMs recommended using lockers or luggage storage services, such as bounce locations in Amsterdam, to drop their luggage at shops or hotels for a few euros until check-in. Would have saved me 3 hours of dragging a corpse of a suitcase through cobblestones and rain. Definitely doing that next time instead of ruining both my bag and my dignity. And now you understand why there is a reputation for people backpacking through Europe and not rollerboarding through Europe. This is why I prefer hotels that hold onto your bags before check-in and or allow early check-in. Dude, this is what left luggage/luggage lockers are for. They're so cheap. I had thought the same thing when I went to Rome for the first time. I had 8 hours until I could check in. Figured it would be no big deal to wander around all day since the suitcase was wheeled. Took me about 30 minutes of hills and cobblestone before I decided I was just going to find a bar and day drink till check-in. For anyone wanting to avoid this, Amsterdam Central Station has lockers. If it makes you feel better, this happens to so many people. No one gave a shit or was judging you 'cause you were the fourth person they saw that happened to that day. Today I fucked up by finally standing up to my manager, and now I'm probably getting sacked. Happened yesterday, and am still shaking to be honest. Think I've proper fucked my life, but couldn't take it anymore. Been working this warehouse for about a year now. Pays shit £12 an hour, but I needed the job, kept telling myself I'll get better. My manager Dave, he's one of those proper power trip types. Got his clipboard and high-vis vest. Thinks he's running the bloody country. From day one this guy's had it in for me. Always giving me the worst shifts, heaviest loads, making me stay late when everyone else gets to go home. Asked him about it once, and he just said, "That's how you learn, son," with this smug grin. I'm 27 years old, mate, not your son. But yesterday was the final straw. I'd been working since 6 a.m., it was nearly 8 p.m., and I was absolutely knackered. Everyone else had gone home, but Dave tells me I need to unload one more lorry before I can leave. This massive delivery that should have been a two-person job, but he goes, "You're young, you can handle it." I'm halfway through unloading when I slip and nearly drop this heavy box on my foot. Could have properly injured myself. When I mention it to Dave, he just laughs and goes, "Maybe if you weren't so clumsy you'd be better at this job." That's when I lost it. Properly lost it. I turned around and said, "Maybe if you weren't such a power-hungry dickhead, people would actually want to work here." The words just came out before I could stop them. The look on his face was mental. He went bright red and started shouting about how I can't talk to him like that, how he's going to write me up, how I'm lucky to have a job at all. I should have just apologized and kept my mouth shut, but I was so angry I kept going. Lucky to have a job? Mate, you pay minimum wage for back-breaking work and treat everyone like shit. The only reason anyone works here is because they're desperate. Then I said the thing that's probably going to get me sacked. You're nothing but a bully with a tiny bit of power, and everyone here knows it. He went mental. Started screaming about how I'm fired, how he's going to make sure I never work in warehousing again, all sorts of threats. I just grabbed my stuff and walked out while he was still shouting. Now I'm sitting at home realizing Eve probably fucked everything up. I need this job even if it's shit. My rent's due next week, Eve got bills to pay, and now I'm probably unemployed because I couldn't keep my mouth shut. The worst part is I know Dave's going to make up some story about me being aggressive or threatening him. He's that type. And who's going to believe the immigrant warehouse worker over the British manager with 10 years at the company? I keep going back and forth between feeling proud that I finally stood up for myself and feeling like a complete idiot for throwing away my income. I don't know if I did the right thing, or if I'm just an idiot who can't control his temper. So yeah, today I fucked up by finally standing up to a bully manager and probably destroying my financial stability in the process. NGL improper stressed about this, and what to do next. Too long did not read. Today I fucked up by finally standing up to my warehouse manager after a year of him dumping the worst shifts and heavy jobs on me. Yesterday, after working from 6 a.m. to nearly 8 p.m., he made me unload a lorry alone and laughed when I nearly dropped a box on my foot. I snapped, called him a bully with a tiny bit of power, and walked out while he screamed threats about firing me and blacklisting me. Now I'm home stressing with rent due next week and no idea what to do. Part of me feels proud I spoke up, the other part feels like I've just ruined everything. You started work at 6 a.m., and yet you were still there after 7 p.m., that's illegal here. Raise a complaint about this to your HR. It will, or should be, a bigger issue than you saying some words to your supervisor. Are you on a 0 hours contract? Do you work more than 48 hours per week? Did you agree to? He sounds a prick all right. I don't blame you for flipping on him. If anything comes back and you lose your job, go to SAS. Do you have timesheets or a clocking out system to prove you've been working nearly 14-hour days? Sounds like he's already taking the piss, and there's probably some racial prejudice behind it if you are the only one treated this way and you're an immigrant. Bro, don't worry, I did the same thing. It was a weird feeling, finally standing up for myself, but knowing it was like the last day on work for me. In the end, it will be all good. You did the right thing. You will find a job easily, I'm sure. You have fucked your life up only temporarily, if at all. In the future, you will look back at this and remember the time when you stood up for yourself and showed him and yourself that you are not a pushover. I hope this has a positive effect on your life. You can use moments like this as something positive in your life. In a few years' time, you won't care about this crappy minimum wage job. You'll drive past the site in your Jag and see that pathetic manager still there, just older and wearier. Might be worth getting into contact with ACAS and seeing what support they can give you. Those hours are insane, and he sounds like a bellend. Gotta love shitty, power-tripping management causing great people to quit. It sounds like you're a great worker. You'll find something else that's more worthy of your energy, OP. Today I fucked up by deleting all of my son's progress in his video game. So I, 34F, have a son 6M, who is really into video games. He got his Nintendo Switch almost 2 years ago, and is loving it. At the age of 5, had already finished Mario Odyssey. I know very little about video games, but even I think that was a pretty impressive accomplishment. He is still really young, so while he's doing great with playing the games, he is still learning how to take care of his games and the console. There have been many times he has taken games out before ejecting them, and other times he has taken them out correctly, but he will just put the game down in a random place and loses them. Not hard to do. Have you seen the Switch games? They are tiny. So, this is where I fed up. Every so often my husband and I will do what we call a game audit. We will get all the Switch games from the 3 Switches in the house and console travel cases, and put them back in their original cases, so we can make sure no one lost any. My husband had shown me in the past how to save progress and safely eject the game. On this day my husband was out of town, and my kids were at school, so I was doing the audit by myself. I get to my son's console, and he had Pokemon Scarlet in it. I went through the process of ejecting the game and take it out, and after I did that I remembered that I never saved woman facepalming. I feel awful. My son had put a ton of time into the game and was working so hard. I know he had done so much work, and I just had a brain fart and completely forgot to save it. Too long did not read. I took my son's Pokemon Scarlet game out without saving his progress. Update. Thank you all so much for your comments. So many of you I'm sure were thinking, how stupid is this lady for not knowing about autosaves and save points in game? Yep, pretty stupid. After hearing so many of you telling me about that, I felt so much better. I truly thought I set him back at least an hour or 2 of work in the game. To most adults this wouldn't be a big deal, but kids have a much different view of time. Well, either way, when he got home I told him what happened, and at first he was upset, more at himself than me. And then I told him to check and see where he last saved. It turned out that it saved super close to where he stopped. So it turns out it wasn't as big of an F-up as I thought. Either way, just the fear of it is going to having me remember to save from now on anyway. To the people that commented about video game addiction, thank you so much. I know addictions of any kind can be hard to overcome, let alone ones that start so young. I can say that he is more balanced in it now than he was when he finished Odyssey. He is in sports and goes outside with friends all the time, and we have been limiting him to 4 or 5 hours a week total for video games. I will do more research and talk with my husband about other ways to make sure addiction does not become a problem. In the end, I guess it all worked out, and my son was so kind to me even when he thought a significant amount of his gameplay was lost. You don't need to worry, as Pokemon has an autosave feature. So he might lose a bit, but he will retain most of his progress. Fortunately, that's not how video games work. If you eject without saving, it will just go back to the most recent save point. It won't completely erase his progress. It's usually fine. The Switch is pretty good with save points. I have one, and I have half a dozen games I regularly just close the software on. I can't speak for Pokemon, but I imagine it's got many checkpoints that wouldn't prevent a full wipe. The game has an autosave feature that saves your progress automatically at key points, and even if you turn the autosave off, many do, you only made him lose what he was doing since the last save. It's likely not that big of a problem. It's also a good learning moment for him to save his progress before he puts it down. Good habit for when it's real work he would be losing later. Son 6M, who is really into video games. He got his Nintendo Switch almost 2 years ago and is loving it. That is your real fuck-up. He's never saved the game ever in the entire time he's played it? This post doesn't make sense.